we're going to find out at some point today the real status of Trent Williams, Elijah Mitchell, or not Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, those three guys. And they did not practice. I mean, McCaffrey was out there running and stretching and working with the strength and conditioning coach and the trainer, but he wasn't really practicing. Trent and Deebo have not practiced this week. And so today we're going to get some determination if they're going to go Monday night. If they're not going to go Monday night, then all of a sudden that the big subplot is Jalen Moore against Danielle Hunter on that fast surface, protecting Brock Purdy's hind quarters and trying to keep him upright. That's going to be a big thing to watch for. In addition, you know, can Ayuk step up without Deebo? Can Elijah Mitchell and J.P. Mason step up in the absence of Christian McCaffrey? All these things are going to be, you know, major topics possibly later today. So why don't we start right there, injury-wise, before we get into both sides of the matchup? What do you think? I mean, you know, where are you on these injuries? I mean, like, there are people that are like, hey, you know what? I don't care if McCaffrey can go. They have great depth. It's a long year. He's obviously not 100%. Sit him down. Like, you know, they don't even want to see McCaffrey. Other people are like, well, you know, if I don't see McCaffrey, I want to see J.P. Mason. Sounds like Shanahan's leaning more towards, you know, Elijah Mitchell. You know, that's what it sounds like to me, at least. And then there's the, what do you do if you're going up against the number one sack guy in the league and Danielle Hunter and you don't have Trent Williams? I mean, that could severely change everything about Kyle Shanahan's offensive game plan. So these are big injury information, you know, notes that we're going to get later today, I would imagine.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Larry. It's unsettling when you're looking at what we want to do for the entirety of the season. Is Jalen Moore going to be ready? We don't know. Danielle Hunter is a force. Outside of Danielle Hunter, though, they leave a lot to be desired. They on their defensive line. I will say, yeah, I'm very concerned about Christian McCaffrey's utilization. He does need to be taken down a peg or two as far as like how many reps he has, even if he does play. And really, this is a good game to see what JP Mason has, to see what Elijah Mitchell can do, you know, with his requisite health. So I don't like this game on the injury front for all of the points that you just brought up. Before another point is that we're playing on slit film turf. That is known to be a injury riddled surface where guys get injured. It's the same surface that Nick Bosa got injured on in MetLife. The same surface. So this is a game where they're definitely not as talented as we are, and we should come out with the win. However, you do want to make sure that, you know, we get out of here with a clean win and make sure that we get proof of concept with our backups. Now, as far as Deebo and Trent are concerned, I don't know if Deebo is ready to play. Neither do I know if Trent is ready to play. But this may be a game where you sit them all. We need to rest these guys. And the last thing we need is to lose them for the entire year. I mean, at the very least, I would say have Christian McCaffrey on the pitch count. If Trent can't go, I would sit him down. We talked about moves to make in the trade deadline, and I told you that I was more along the narrative trying to get backups, trying to get guys that have starting quality in them, not necessarily trying to break the bank with a blockbuster guy. And that's why I mentioned that tackle out of Arizona, Beacham, because I feel as though that we are one injury away from that offensive line. With Trent gone, it is a significant drop off in just production across the board. Like, forget Trent's backup, right? We already know that's going to be a drop off, but just the entire play of the line is going to drop down. So I'm a little concerned about this game because it is the type of game where you want to get out with a clean win, but you don't want what happened to us in Cleveland to happen in Minnesota, which is Cleveland, they got dirty with us. They drug us down into the dirt. They made it a rough game. So that's where I stand on the injury front. I really would like for us to sit them all if we could. I feel like we can get through on Minnesota without having everybody play, but at the very least, Christian McCaffrey needs to be on a pitch count. We need to start seeing more of JP Mason and Elijah Mitchell. And with Trent, I really do believe that the free agent, that the free agency, I mean the free agent or the trademark targets that we need would be tackle. We can't lose Trent on offensive line.
Well, I mean, no team blitzes at a higher rate in the NFL than the Vikings. So, having your left tackle would definitely be nice. Jalen Moore did play for Trent when he missed time in week 6. And, the one thing about the Vikings, they blitz all the time because they're not getting home one-on-one. Minnesota, even though they have Danielle Hunter, doesn't have a pass rusher in the top 50 among defensive linemen in win percentage for PFF. But Hunter is still leading the league in sacks. He's got 8. They've got Harrison Phillips inside. They've got some decent players on their defensive line. Dean Lowry, Harrison Phillips inside, and then Hunter, coming off the edge. DJ Wanham is coming off the other edge from South Carolina. They've had some injuries. Marcus Davenport is hurt, so he will not play in this game. That's advantage 49ers. They have a very young, small 5'10" inside backer rookie, Ivan Pace out of Cincinnati, who's having a nice year to start his year off. He's a movement guy. But yeah, they're not an overwhelming defense like what the Niners faced last week with Myles Garrett and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, maybe the best secondary in the league. So the Vikings aren't that. But the Vikings, the one thing they do is they send a lot of exotics. They'll give you 3 safety looks. They send Metellus off the edge. He's their nickelback. He's really one of their best pass rushers. So I'm eager to see. It's like they've had plays where people are like, well, they're blitzing because they're sending Metellus. But then if you really look on the film, you're seeing 4 rushers and you're seeing one of their defensive linemen drop off into coverage. So, that is not technically a blitz because it's not a 5-man rush, but they'll send different guys at the quarterback. And the guy that they use the most is this Josh Metellus, who's the nickelback, and he's 5'11", 200 pounds. And, I asked Forster about the challenges of blocking smaller guys, and he's like, it's not a challenge as long as you can get your hands on them. If you can't get your hands on them, then it becomes a monumental challenge. So, to me, this is going to be an interesting situation for the 49er offensive line in that they may have to block some smaller guys. They may have to figure out not just if 4 are coming, but what 4, and adjust properly to block them. I thought one of the plays that I broke down on film this week from the Browns game was a 5-man surface. It was a 5-man rush. And when I looked at it and rolled it back and forth, you had Garrett, Okoronkwo, Zadarius, Mo Hurst, and Anthony Walker all going at the quarterback. So you had a 5-man rush, and they were all down on the line of scrimmage. So you had a 5-man surface, and they were playing some games. So they took Tomlinson off the field, and they went with kind of like their NASCAR package of rushers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was really, really effective.